Yo, what's going on, man? Today is March the 4th, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show, live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. Most likely be back at 5 p.m. Eastern time for the NBA ChrisBeCappinn show. For the new people, it's a sports betting show where we handicap NBA games, myself, the community, and we give out plays that we absolutely love to try to make some cash, man. So, like I said, probably be back at 5 p.m. Link to official plays are in the description. A link to the Eyes Jam promo code is also in the description if you guys are interested in signing up for that. And as always, check me out on Twitter if you're watching it on YouTube or X. And then if you're watching in on, if you're listening in or, watching on Twitter or X, definitely check me out on YouTube as well. We're just going to jump straight into it today, man. So I think it's like, 6 games on the card for today. So we're just going to jump right into it, get started today. First game, quick recap. We did give out a couple plays yesterday. So the dogs were barking yesterday. I think that's first and foremost what we need to make sure we say. Dallas ended up losing at home as an 8-point favorite yesterday. Indy ended up losing on the road as a 6.5-point favorite in San Antonio. Neither one of those games were even close, honestly. And I think the dogs. I think every favorite won yesterday outside of Orlando. I know Orlando won and covered. Boston won and covered. I think every other dog covered yesterday if they didn't win outright. We did make some money with Charlotte. Plus 7.5. They could have won that game outright. I just couldn't get a bucket late. Charlotte plus 7.5. And then OKC on the money line. Gator won out the night before. So 2 in 1 day, almost up a unit. Probably should have just stayed off the money line parlay. And I think about it. Even though I did think both of those teams were going to win. So up 32, a little over 32 units this year. And hopefully we can keep building on it, man. First game up, we got the Memphis Grizzlies. They'll be in Brooklyn tonight, taking on this Brooklyn Nets team. This line actually opened at 8 yesterday afternoon. Total opened at 213. Of course, you see the money come in on the under. The unders went 8-0 yesterday, just for people who don't like to play unders. It's a lot of money to be made betting on unders in the NBA, especially after the All-Star break. I want to say that number's like 60-something and 25. So if you just blindly been tailing, back in the unders so far this season, after the All-Star break, you made a ton of money. Absolutely. So this one goes to 9. Like I said, from 8, and the total drops, and it's more so money just coming in on Memphis, and I would agree with it. Not a game that I'm interested in playing. Looking at this Memphis team, this is the 3rd game in 4 nights. They are also off the overtime game against the Portland Trailblazers when they were at home. This Memphis team has actually failed to score more than 100 points in 5 straight games. Every game since the All-Star break, they've been held under 102 points. And that was their team total when it came out. Now it's probably something like 100, probably right on the dot. They've been held under their team total in 4 of their 5 straight games as well. In Brooklyn, they got the win against Atlanta the other day. They come back, they get another win against the Atlanta Hawks. So back-to-back wins for the Brooklyn Nets. They've actually been playing some pretty good defense. They've held 4 of their last opponents under 102 as well. 8-2 to the under in their last 10 games. This is the first leg of a back-to-back. They play, I think they play Philly tomorrow, and then Memphis also plays Philly. Brooklyn, they've actually held 5 straight opponents under their team, the opposing team under their team total as well. So, like I said, makes sense that the money's coming in on the under in this spot. This is one where I'm not sure what the final number is going to be. I think you got to wait. Probably want to wait on Jared Jackson Jr. news, but people are waiting. That's why it's being bet down already. Jared Jackson Jr. is listed as doubtful in this game. He didn't play the last 2 games for the Memphis Grizzlies. Cam Thomas remains out, and then you could get Ben Simmons back if you're looking at back in the Nets in this one. Head-to-head, these two teams just played, of course, since the All-Star break when Kevin Ollie got his first win. I think that was at the beginning of last week, and Memphis only scored 86 points in that game. So maybe Memphis team total to go under. They still be extremely short-handed in this game. We know that they've had tons of players on the injury report. So that's probably the way I would look at this one. Probably just a Memphis team total to go under, thinking that Brooklyn should be able to continue to play, some really solid defense. Next game up, we got the Bucks. They will be in Milwaukee today, taking on this Los Angeles Clippers game. This was a game that I played yesterday. I jumped on the under in this one last night. This total actually opened. I thought was a little too high, in my opinion. 230.5 was the total last night when I took it on BetMGM. And this number actually opened at 4.5, and you see it come up to 5.5 now. I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't get there with Milwaukee, even though people are betting the Bucks already. Couldn't quite get there, not knowing the status of Giannis. He is listed as questionable in this game. I think it's an Achilles for Giannis Antetokounmpo in this one. Of course, the Clippers get a really big win yesterday, so second leg of a back-to-back. I think that game yesterday meant a lot to them. And Kawhi, after the game in the post-game interview, did say, we really can't afford to take any game, and not be serious about it. So, shorthanded without Russell Westbrook yesterday, they were able to get that win. But like I said, I think that game against Minnesota, they had actually, if they lost yesterday, they would have been swept by Minnesota. They would have been now 0-3. So now it's 2-1 in that head-to-head series. I looked at the Clippers on the second leg of back-to-backs. They're actually the second best team, 3-3 straight up, 2-4 against the spread. No, I'm sorry, that's since the All-Star break. 3-3 straight up, 2-4 against the spread. They have been struggling since the All-Star break. There's also third and fourth for the Clippers and fourth and sixth for the Clippers as well. But on the second leg of back-to-back games, the Clippers are second in point differential. On the second leg of back-to-backs, they're actually a plus 11. And they're 6-3 straight up, which is actually 6-3 straight up, and they're third in offensive rating over the last third in offensive rating and seventh in defensive rating. So the Clippers do play well in the second leg of back-to-back. I'm just not sure how much this game is going to mean to them. Check the injury report. Didn't look like anybody's going to be on there. The Bucks on the opposite side, we know that this team has been absolutely balling. You've been just blindly, backing them since the All-Star break. You made a ton of money. They've won and covered 5 straight, 7-3 straight up, and against the spread in their last 10 games. They are plus 19 in point differential when they're playing against an unrested opponent at home in 6 straight games. Plus 19 in point differential when they're playing at home versus an unrested team over the course of 6 games. As far as the total, why I jumped on the under, Clippers 4-2 to the under since the All-Star break. The Bucks, we know that they've been, just strangling teams defensively. 8-1-1 to the under in their last 10 games. 11-1-1 to the under since the All-Star break. 5 straight opponents have been held under their team total when playing against this Bucks team. Opponents only averaging 97 points per game versus them since the All-Star break. Milwaukee, number 1 in points allowed per 100 possessions at 101.6 since the All-Star break, and the number 1 in opponent effective field goal percentage as well. So I contemplated a Clippers team total under. The number was 112.5, minus 105 on DraftKings yesterday, and I probably should have just played that as well, but I stayed off of it and just played the full game under. Milwaukee hasn't. If you're looking at the Clippers team total and wondering why, I just kind of gave you guys some numbers, but Milwaukee actually hasn't allowed more than 107 points since the All-Star break. If Giannis doesn't play, I think that they'll have to rely a little bit more on their defense as well. But like I said, he is listed as questionable. 5 straight opponents have actually failed to reach their team total when playing on the second leg of a back-to-back as well. When they coming off a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, we know the Timberwolves are really a physical team. They beat you up a little bit. So I wanted to look at that as well. Teams that have played the Minnesota Timberwolves and then are unrested in the next game, 5 straight have actually stayed under their team total. So that trends well for that Clippers team total to go under as well. Teams are actually 4-0 to the under in the full game in this spot as well. So as far as this side, like I said, I think you kind of got to wait on the Giannis news, but I did jump in on the under in this one. 230.5. I thought that was a tad bit too high, and it's come down 4 points already. Next game up, not a game that I'm super interested in betting. Matter of fact, we can skip this one. The Portland Trail Blazers, they'll be in Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves. Blazers, of course, coming off back-to-back wins against the Memphis Grizzlies. Timberwolves not doing well. This team has not been great since the All-Star break. They lose against Sacramento on Friday when Anthony Edwards left the game early. They lost after the All-Star break against the who did they lose to? They lost to the Bucks, and these are home losses as well. And then they, slept up yesterday and can't score. I think that's the one thing about this Minnesota Timberwolves teams. Karl Anthony Towns after the game said they go through the ebbs and flows, but it's a lot more recently. It's been a lot more ebbs. They've really struggled to score the ball consistently. Outside of Karl Anthony Towns, outside of Anthony Edwards, they don't really have too many scores on this team. So of course they've dominated this Portland team, which is why you see this spread at 14. Right? Remember, right before the All-Star break, they beat them, I think, 2 times by like probably 50 points between the two. And they should come out here and want to, get this game out the way early. really reassert themselves. They lost, and I said this yesterday. I said if the Timberwolves lose to the Clippers and the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Phoenix Suns, OKC was going to be back at number one. So now Minnesota actually not in the number one position in the Western Conference, which they've actually were holding that spot for quite some time. So I don't think that they'll get it back either. They probably won't get it back just because, like I said, they continuously struggle. You got guys out there that's not making shots. The defense has been solid, but they turn the ball over a lot. Just very immature. I don't think that they'll get that spot back. But regardless, in this game, I'm not playing it. Maybe a Portland team total under. Definitely want to wait on the injury report, see who's going to be out there for Portland because they just keep kind of shuffling things up back and forth and coming off back-to-back wins against the Memphis Grizzlies, getting that bad taste out of their mouth. They probably get smoked in this game, but not a game I'm interested in betting. Here is a game that I'm interested in betting, and I actually played this one last night as well. The Washington Wizards will be in Utah today, taking on this Utah Jazz team. This line, crazy. This one actually opened at 9.5. And the odds makers put this one out before they knew the Lauri Markkanen news. Lauri Markkanen is ruled out in this game. Walker Kessler is also ruled out in this game. Jordan Clarkson, who didn't play in the last game against the Miami Heat on Saturday, is off the injury report. And for Washington, I don't think they really have anybody that's on the injury report. And this one, simple, really simple, man. Not a team that I'm backing too often, but I feel like you got to take the Wizards in the spot, and the number continues to come down. I gave it out last night at plus 8.5. Like I said, it actually opened at 9.5. By the time I was able to really, look a little deeper into it, the sharp bettors were already, taking Washington plus the points, and I got it at 8.5. So Washington, this team has lost 14 games in a row. This is the last game of a 3-game road trip for them as well. You get them off 2 days rest. Of course, we know that they came really close to beating the Lakers on the second leg of a back-to-back. The Lakers won the second leg of a back-to-back, took them to overtime. And then they get absolutely smoked against the Clippers, lose that game by, I think, 25 points, which makes a lot of sense. And now you get them rested. 2 days rest. You got Kuzma back at Utah where he played his college basketball. And we know that the Wizards are a really great team on the road. I wouldn't say great, but you can say great. 61.3% is pretty great. 61.3%, 19-12 against the spread as road dogs this season. This Utah team not playing well. 2-8 straight up, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. First game back home after I think it's a small little 3-game road trip out east. Looking at this game from an X's and O's perspective, the Jazz are bottom 10 in every 3-point defensive statistical category since the All-Star break. The corner three, they're 25th. Non-corner three, they're the worst team in the NBA. Mid-range shot, 21st. Long mid-range, 29th. Washington shoots a ton of threes. They're top 10 in 3-point frequency and in non-corner threes as well. And then the other thing I think that was really, really big is we know Lauri Markkanen is the best player for the Utah Jazz. So I looked into that as well. Without Lauri Markkanen this season, this team is a minus 11.1 without Lauri Markkanen on the floor. So when you're asking them to win the game, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Now, can they win the game? I think so. But I honestly think this number should probably be around 4.5. I think the Washington Wizards, they lose 2 more games, and they'll tie their franchise record for losses in the season. Like I said, they've already lost 14 in a row. This is, granted, you're the worst team in the NBA, and, Detroit now has more wins than you, but you don't want to go out like this. And this is a meaningful game. I did look into their schedule. They had a couple games where they could win as well. They got a game against Charlotte. I'm not sure if they're better than Charlotte right now either, though. Honestly, Charlotte should probably be favorites in that game. But this is a game I feel like Washington has to come out and assert themselves. And it's a winnable game for them. So I do think that they'll take it serious. You got Jordan Poole playing a little bit better. Though he had a couple 30-point games in his most recent performances. And the big thing is you get Deni Avdija back, right? I already talked to you guys about how they're minus 10 for the season in point differential, but they're minus 15 without Deni Avdija. He did come back in that last game. So minus 11 without Markkanen on the floor, minus 17.2 without Markkanen and Walker Kessler on the floor at the same time. Utah minus 16.4 in point differential when, since the All-Star break, when they've not had Kelly Olynyk, Lauri Markkanen, Abaji, Fontecchio on the floor over 344 possessions as well. So I took the Wizards plus 8.5. I think it's the right side. I also think the under is the right side. This total was 242.5 last night. One of the bets I felt like I probably should have placed, even though neither one of these teams play a lot of defense, but the totals come down. And I would agree with the movement coming down as well. I don't think that this Jazz offense is going to be as efficient without Lauri Markkanen on the floor. And I don't think that the Washington Wizards, we know that they've been trending towards the under in road games outside of the game against the Clippers, of course. I do think that they can slow down this Jazz offense. And I would still probably look towards the under, but losing 4 points and as bad as these defenses are, I'm not going to touch it. Wizards plus the 8.5 top spot of the day, though. And like I said, I did take that one. I would still take the 6. I think that this total continues to. I think the spread continues to come down, probably to about 5. I think it should be about 5. 2 more games to get into real quick. The next one, Bulls and the Sacramento Kings. Of course, the big news in this one is the status of De'Aaron Fox, and money already coming in on the Sacramento Kings team, even without knowing the status of De'Aaron Fox. This line was at, no, I'm sorry, no, it didn't. It was at 6.5 last night. It's still at 6.5. Total come down though. It was at 229, and it's down to 227.5. And I do like the under. I didn't play it because I think if De'Aaron Fox is ruled in, it'll probably go up. Then you take the under, and I told myself, I wrote that down in my notes last night. Sacramento, this team, the top 5 in trend. Well, let's start with the spot. So Sacramento's coming off a game from Friday. They 2 days rested. De'Aaron Fox hasn't played in the last 2 games. I didn't know this. I wish I had known. Sacramento actually had a players-only meeting after getting smoked against the Denver Nuggets before they played against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you see, what's his name? I'm having a what's his name? Malik Monk is the name person I'm trying to think of. Malik Monk go out and hit the Minnesota Timberwolves for almost 40 points in that game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And now they come back home where you typically don't want to play the Kings. We know that they're not good as a home favorite. 10-14 against the spread as home favorites. That's not profitable. 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 as home favorites. And you get the Chicago Bulls team, first game on the West Coast in quite a while. Bulls aren't great as away dogs, 10-11 against the spread as road dogs, but they are 3-0 against the spread in their last 3 as road dogs. Sacramento has dominated this team from a head-to-head perspective. 4-0 are the Kings, straight up and against the spread in the last 4. They've already beat them 1 time this season as well. So as far as the total, Sacramento, when they're at home as a favorite, they trend towards the over, 17-7. That's really strong to the over as home favorites. If you look at them as home favorites in non-conference games, it gets stronger, 9-2 to the over. But the total's coming down, and I would agree with it. You do got Caruso listed as questionable, him and De'Aaron Fox. I think that's important to mention. But as far as the X's and O's in this game, I'm looking at the Sacramento Kings team. They're top 5 in transition points. Chicago's actually number 2 in limited transition points since the All-Star break. Chicago's also top 3 in limited offensive rebounds and putbacks, while the Kings are top 10 in both categories. We know that they have a bunch of great rebounders on this team outside of Sabonis that can go down there and really attack the glass, get a bunch of offensive rebounds and a bunch of easy stickbacks. Sacramento also bottom 5 in rim and shots in the mid-range defensively. And that's a spot that we know that the Chicago Bulls team like to shoot from. Everybody likes to get to the mid-range, even with DeMar DeRozan included, of course, but everybody on this team likes to get to the mid-range. So I do think that, just the numbers that I kind of gave you guys all kind of, trend towards the under. But De'Aaron Fox, he did say that, they're not sure if he's going to play. They'll see how things go. Probably be a late, decision to be made, probably a game time decision throughout the whole day. He did go through practice yesterday. I'm thinking he's going to go through shoot around again. And I would be looking at, probably the under more so than the side in this one. It's a game where I do kind of feel like Chicago can kind of keep it close, though. It's going to be interesting to see if the Kings are that mature team that they need to be. They remind me a lot of the Minnesota Timberwolves, really kind of Jekyll and Hyde around this time of the season. So I'm probably not going to get there on the side. I do kind of lean towards the Bulls to be able to cover the number, though. Last game on the board. If you've been watching this long, do me a favor and hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And turn the notification bell on. Share the show also. Last game on the board. Oklahoma City will be in LA taking on the Lakers. This is a game that I didn't really look too far ahead into just because I had the Thunder last night. But I'll tell you guys this. I know one thing I know about the Thunder. And granted, the Lakers need every win that they can get. You got LeBron James listed as questionable, Anthony Davis listed as probable. For OKC, SGA did play 38 minutes last night because they did kind of let go of that lead against the Phoenix Suns last night in Phoenix. SGA played 38 minutes last night. That's not good. However, before that game, the Thunder actually had 2 days of rest. So Thunder, if you know anything about them, this team is excellent on the second leg of a back-to-back. It really doesn't phase them. The Clippers are the number 1 team on the second leg of back-to-back games. This Oklahoma City Thunder team is actually the first best team in the NBA, and pretty much in a lot of the categories, right? A lot of the categories that matter, this team is first in on the second leg of back-to-back games. They owe the Lakers as well. They did beat the Lakers in the first game of the head-to-head matchup. The Lakers have actually beat them 2 times in a row. They got Bismack Biyombo down, potentially slow down Anthony Davis and not let him be as dominant, to kind of shore up Chet Holmgren. And I'm not willing to bet against them right now. OKC is a well-oiled machine, and I'm pretty sure they want their get back. The Lakers went into OKC and beat them earlier this season. I want to say they won both games in OKC. The Thunder 7-3 straight up when they're playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. They're plus 20 in point differential. They're number 1 offensive team, 131.5. Number 1 in effective field goal percentage, 64.9. And defensively, 5th defensively, 111.1 points allowed per 100 possessions, 7th effective field goal percentage, and they turn you over. 3rd best turnover differential. I'm sorry, 3rd best in forcing turnovers over the course of that time. So I know if you've been watching the show long enough, you know the Lakers are my team. I'm not. The Lakers look a little shaky right now, man. I don't like that they can't. And I know it's a different team, but I don't like that they really, really struggled in that game and not be able to make the adjustments that they need. LeBron and Darvin Ham look like they kind of beefing just a tad bit as well. I'm not liking what I'm seeing from the Lakers right now. I think OKC is live to win this game. If, as the spread kind of indicates, right, you could take them, plus the 1 or take them on the money line right now. And I do think that they're the right side in this game. I'm not looking to back the Lakers, not against top tier competition. The Lakers have not done well enough for me to feel like I want to put my hard-earned money on them. Let's see, head-to-head, Lakers did beat them January 15th, 112-105 in LA. OKC, they went to OKC when they desperately needed a win earlier this season as 3.5-point dogs and won that game as well. So this will be the first time that the Lakers have actually been favored this season. I don't think I agree with it, even on the second leg of a back-to-back. Don't think I agree with it. Lakers got way too many injuries. Jared Vanderbilt not being there is humongous. I like OKC in this spot. So that's what I'll say about this game. I don't like that SGA played so many minutes last night, but I think that he can keep it going. The Lakers don't have anybody that can stay in front of them. So I'm gonna get out of here, man. But 2 top looks of the day for myself. And I didn't even write these down on the actual slide, but 2 top looks. Like I said, I gave out Washington last night plus the 8.5. I was still taking them at plus 6.5. I think the spread should probably be about 5. And then especially with no Laurie Market and no Walker Kessler. And then the under in the Milwaukee and in the Clipper game as well. Under 230.5 is what I got. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Also like the under. Honorable mention would be the under in the Chicago Bulls in the Sacramento Kings game. But like I said, you wait on that news, see if De'Aaron Fox plays, and that total will go up. And then you come back in on the under, in my opinion. So best of luck to you guys today, man. Hopefully we all kind of get some cash. Here's the resources as always for you guys, for anybody that's interested. On your way out, do me one quick favor. If you haven't already, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and share the show if you guys can as well. Best of luck on all your action today, man. Probably be back at 5 p.m. Eastern time as well. Enjoy the games, and as always, man, bet responsibly. I'll catch you guys in the next one.